and I've had a lot of meals and a lot of fun times with him. And I'm proud of what you're doing, Keith. Super excited to hear you and to watch you grow. So help me welcome up to the stage Fast Track Executive Consultant Keith Doughty.
Nope.
Light screen, fella. We cooking? How are we doing now? Is that better? Everybody can hear me? All right, good. Well, super excited to be here. You know, I was talking to Jay earlier. I mean, look at him. He looks great, right? Woo! He's saying how he lost some weight. I said, I found it. And I'm holding on. So, all right. Well, that's one of my 2 required fat jokes for me. So, you know, it's funny, you have these experiences as you grow in the business, and you're looking for ways to grow as a person, and you're looking for ways to help other people grow when you're doing this. And I've had the opportunity in my life to have some great experiences in my career, working, you know, in the software business and that sort of thing. And also, you know, when I got tired of the software business, I had some blessings when I was younger to get involved into the sports industry. So for me, being able to work with AAA baseball and being able to work a little bit with the NHL, with the Ottawa Senators when they became an expansion franchise in the NHL, and then go back into software. And then when I got tired of software, I got back into the sports industry, and there might be a small team that's actually getting known now. Does anybody recognize the name Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks? That's right. So I got at least, I guess, 1 Bucks fan here, right? So you and me, that's 2 of us. So, you know, they offered me a position when I was looking to get back into sports, and I worked with the NBA with the Milwaukee Bucks for a couple of years, and helping them develop the new arena and all the stuff that's going on there. And anybody that's been on the calls lately, you know, realizes that, you know, some stuff changed for me when my mom got sick, and that's how I ended up in Maine, right? And I talked a little bit on Saturday about timing and the timings of things, right? And you know, had my mom not gotten ill, had I not taken a job at the University of Maine with the athletics department, I probably would not have found this business, right? Everybody knows that Milwaukee and Wisconsin are not an open market, right? So I would not have found this business. So, you know, I have to thank God for that. And so that's one of the things that brings me here today. But, you know, talking about my mom, it reminds me, you know, I was in the bathroom there, you know, just before the break, and I was looking at myself in the mirror and trying to make sure I looked nice when I got up here and all that sort of stuff. Who here thinks that your mom is always right, or now has learned over time that the mom is usually right? All right, so you got your dad. Your dad's kind of the coach, right? He's always giving you tips, he's helping you. My dad was always like, listen, when you're gonna speak somewhere, just wear black, it's very slimming. And I hear my mom in the background, it's a wives' tale. The only thing slimming is exercise. So, clearly I still don't listen to my mom. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today, and I didn't really want to get off topic, but what I wanted to talk about was having specific intent. And this is something that I've worked on a lot with my team, and I've talked about a lot, and I was talking to Tim, you know, what kind of topic should I cover? You know, I'm a little nervous. This is my first time actually having a topic. Some of you see me speak before in testimonial style, like 5 minutes or whatever, so now I got 20 minutes to fill. I'm like, what am I going to say to these people that's going to be interesting and inspiring and all of the things that comes with the name Keith Doughty? So, first of all, hey, can I get a Ric Flair? Woo! Right? That gets everybody excited, gets the blood flowing. But when you talk about a specific intent, I wanted to cover, see, I'm all over the place. But when it comes to specific intent, when you're making a call, for example, do you have a goal in mind when you're making a call? So there's a lot of different topics around making a call and inviting and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of nuts and bolts to this business. Not all of those things I'm going to cover. I'm not going to tie a whole bunch of stuff together. I'm going to talk mostly about having specific intent at the things that you're doing and why you're doing the things and what the strategies are around those things, okay? So I'm going to go through that. I'm going to draw some of my real world experience, not only in this business, but also from the NBA and the things that I learned when I worked with the Milwaukee Bucks. And I worked a lot with kids that were coming out of school and it was their first job, right? So that's typically what happens is kids go to school for, they want to get into the sports industry, right? Everybody's got a dream. I'm an athlete, I want to be in the sports industry, right? So they go to school, they get this education, then they come out of school and what do they need? They need their first job, right? So then they're a new kid that comes in, we go through this whole big interview process, and we're looking with specific intent for certain people with certain characteristics. And really that's a lot like what we do in this business, is it not, right? We're looking for pearls, we're looking for the right kind of people that want to invest in themselves to get from point A to point B, right? Brian McClure talks a lot about the journey from point A to point B. So that's what I'm looking for, and I equate what I'm going to talk about today a lot to what I learned with the Milwaukee Bucks and how we help those kids become successful, okay? So when you're contacting, do you have a goal for those calls and for those communications? Or are you just picking up the phone and going about this thing willy-nilly, right? And here's what I talk about. Be brief, not rude, but brief. Be in a hurry. And this is what I taught the kids with the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Be brief. Get on the phone, get off the phone. How many people think that somebody is going to spend $4,000 or $5,000 on season tickets over the phone? How many people think that normally when somebody's going to spend $5,000 on something, they're going to want to talk to you face to face and they're going to want to see you in person, right? We're talking for $100 with us and what we're doing here, right? So when you get on the phone and you're calling them, what's the plan? The plan is to what? To book an appointment, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about booking the appointment and how we do that. But be brief, not rude, but be brief, be in a hurry. Be specific about the reason for your call, right? Don't go down rabbit holes, stay on topic. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll cover some of that in the next slides, okay? There we go, the Bucks logo. Figured that would make some of the Celtics fans jealous around here. When you're booking the first appointment, it's the most important step, right? There's really the 4 steps to the business. Brian McClure talks about that all the time, right? There's the making the written list, right? There's the invitation, and there's the presentation. Never the two shall meet, right? And then there's validation. So I'm going to talk about step 2, which is really the invitation, the booking of the appointment. What you want to do is make sure that you get in front of the person. Okay? Why do you want to get in front of the person? And you want to preferably do it in their space. Okay? And I'll talk to you a little bit about why we're going to do that. So when you have a chance to talk to somebody on the phone, it's, hey. So one of the best contacts I've heard in this business is Jay Sanborn. Right? His buddy calls him up. His buddy says, hey, Jay, what's going on? And Jay says, hey, not much. What's happening? The guy says, hey, Jay, are you home? He says, yeah. Good, I'll be over in 5 minutes. Who realizes that's the best contact you can make? Oh, yeah. The shorter, the better, right? Get in front of the person. Get in front of the person as much as you can, all right? And I always do a thing with the kids from the Bucks, what's your favorite coffee? And that was always confusing to them. They never really understood at first why I would say, hey, what's your favorite coffee? And I'll talk about that as well, okay? When you after you book the appointment, what does the meeting look like, right? Why do I want the meeting to be in their space? So I call, I'm super brief. Hey, Susan, I just wanted to give you a call because I want to come by and see you. I got something I got to show you. Can you see me on Tuesday at noon or Thursday at 5? Oh, well, what is it? Well, it's about 90% visual. So I really want to stop by and talk to you about it in person because I can't do it justice over the phone. It's really important that we get together. She said, okay, I can see you Tuesday. I say, okay, great, what's your favorite coffee? Somebody goes, oh, and somebody always has to be a pain in the butt and say, oh, I don't drink coffee. Perfect, you like hot chocolate? Great, okay, good. What's your favorite coffee? So this is all part of building relationships, right? Which I'm gonna talk about on the slides to come. They always say, oh yeah, I like a Starbucks coffee, I like it nice and strong. Okay, great, so I'll see you Tuesday at noon, I'll bring you your favorite coffee, okay? Why do I want to get into their space? Well, because now you're in their comfort zone, right? You can see their space, you can see what their passions are, right? You can see Are they golfers? Do they have golf clubs in the corners? I like to play a little bit of golf. I now have something that I can talk about with that person. Is there fishing poles in there? Do they, are you meeting them at their office? Right? And now you can see photos of their family on their desk. Right? They got kids, they got a spouse, whatever. They've got fishing trip photos, whatever it is, right? And you can find out things and clues about what makes them tick and what drives them, right? And now all of a sudden what you're doing is you're starting to build a relationship with that person when you're having those conversations with them in their space, right? This is where you can connect, you can be relatable, you can find common ground with that person, okay? Now their space could be preferably somewhere that they live, preferably their office, or the backup to that would be somewhere that they choose versus somewhere that you choose. If they have a favorite coffee shop, right? Now you can't see whether they got golf clubs in the corner, you can't see if they got fishing poles or what their passions are, but you can say to them very frankly, hey, this is a great coffee shop. Why do you like this place? Or what specifically about this place is it that has you coming here? And they might say something simple like, oh, well, it's 5 minutes around the corner. Or they might say, oh, well, this is where I met my wife or something, right? You're always looking for ways that you can have a relatable conversation with that person. Because I am not in the energy business. Chris and Jerry are in the energy business, right? Tony, what are we in? We're in the people business, right? So my goal, my job is to build relationships, to be relatable with that person so that I can open their mind up a little bit to have communication with them about what's important to them, right? Going there and meeting with them is not about what's important to me. It's not about what's important about growing my business, right? It's how can I learn more about that person and position myself to help them get the things that they want, right? When you're starting to build a relationship, trust me, the coffee helps, right? What does that mean? It means here is a chance, and this is a little bit more towards younger folks, because we're dealing with some younger folks in the Bangor area, and I get asked all the time, this whole trick with the coffee, right? You can be genuine about it and all that sort of stuff, but it's really, this business is a lot about relationship building, it's a lot about psychology, right? And it's a lot about giving people information without beating them over the head with information. So if I'm a younger person, and I'm trying to meet with a business person, and I'm sponsoring up, right? Everybody heard the term sponsoring up? Raise your hand if you've heard the term sponsoring up. Okay. Raise your hand if you're tired of everybody saying raise your hand. Okay, all right. Yeah. We're all on the same page there. Well, so what's the idea? You're a younger person. The first thing your sponsor or somebody in your upline is going to tell you, sponsor up, right? And then usually you go, oh, what does that mean? Okay, well, it means what you're trying to do is find pearls, right? And if you got an 18-year-old buddy that's smoking pot and he's got to put in his bong for you to set up the iPad, maybe that person is not necessarily in the right timing in their life. That doesn't mean they can't be good at the business, right? It just means that that's probably not something they're thinking about right now. They haven't been beaten down enough yet, right? How many people in here, be honest, how many people in here have had some struggles in their life? Some things that they had to overcome, right? Even myself, right? So here's the thing, you're 18 years old, you're at school, maybe you haven't had a lot of struggles yet. Maybe you don't know yet that life is hard. Maybe you can still run a mile without passing out and potentially expiring. Last time I moved fast was when the Krispy Kreme red donut light went on. Oh, donut's hot, I gotta go, right? I'm sweating up here like a criminal in church, but anyways. So here's a chance for you, as a younger person, to build relatability, to build credibility, to build trust, and build a relationship. Hey, Susie, I'd love to get together with you. My dad mentioned that this is something you should take a look at. I'd like to come and see you in your office at 2 o'clock. Oh, great, that's perfect, you can meet, perfect. What's your favorite coffee? Oh, I like it strong, I like a Starbucks coffee, okay? So what have I done now? I'm a younger person, I'm sponsoring up. I've booked a meeting, right? I've got their attention. I've made a promise that I'm gonna bring them a coffee, right? So now younger people these days, they got a bad rap, right? Some of them are jerks, let's be honest, but there's still some good people out there, right? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. So they've now made 2 commitments to this person, right? So now well, I guess I'm Keith. I don't need to change my name. I'm not trying to protect myself or anything, I guess. So I'm Keith. I'm a younger guy, right? And I have an appointment with Susie. So I go to Starbucks on the way over there. I pick up her favorite coffee, the way she told me she likes it. And I show up to the appointment on time. What have I done? I've made an impression, right? I've made not one, but 2 commitments to that person. And I've kept both of those commitments. And she doesn't even know why we're meeting. Maybe I've met this person before, maybe I haven't. But now I'm somebody that's honest, and I'm somebody that's on time, and I'm somebody that keeps my commitments. Do you recognize how important that is in today's world? Right? My dad used to tell me, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Right? Be on time, be relatable, keep your commitments. So now you're at the desk, you're talking to this person, they're sipping on their coffee, you know, you're building a relationship with them, right? You're starting to see things about them. What are you doing now? You're starting to uncover or establish their why. You're starting to see things like their family on the desk. You're starting to communicate with them, even if it's just about the coffee, or it's about, hey, why my dad suggested you might be good at this, or hey, I heard you were great at this or that. Whatever it is, that's information that you know about that person. Leverage that information. Be in control of the meeting that you're having. Just because you're 18 doesn't mean you can't be in control of the conversation, right? You have information that you're going to share with them. They don't know what that information is. And you're building and building. But all along the way, you're building credibility and you're building a relationship with that person. And you're opening their mind and you're uncovering more and more information about that person. Do you realize how valuable that is? Right? And you got to remember these things that you're learning so that when you follow up with those people, right? So when you follow up with those people, you can start to remember what it is that they talked about. What did you talk about? What was the photo on your desk? If she says, oh yeah, I'd love to come to the meeting on Thursday, but my daughter has a soccer game. What's the next conversation you're having with that person? Hey, how did your daughter do at soccer? Right? It's not about me. It's not about the meeting. It's not about what we're doing next. It's not about her. It's about her daughter and what are one of her whys. One of her whys is her daughter. She wants to be able to spend more time with her kid, right? How do I find out more about that person? How do I become more relatable to that person? So that when I show them the plan, which is what's next on the list according to the slides, right? That I can now communicate better with that person. Right? And even now as an executive consultant, and I'm sure Tony and everybody, a lot of people still do it the same. I know Tim, we talk about it all the time. Push, play, call, Ray, right? We don't want to reinvent the wheel. My talk is not really about showing the plan per se. It's about the build up towards showing the plan and how you can build a relationship with that person before the plan is even shown. And you're building that credibility, you're building that relationship with those people. And when it comes to specific intent, again, talk about setting a follow-up appointment. One of the things we used to teach the kids with the Milwaukee Bucks is you get the appointment, you get in there, you talk to them about what they want, where their seats are, whatever the thing is if you're trying to sell season tickets. You know what I mean? It's relatable to what we're doing here. We're not necessarily selling anything, they're already consuming electricity, right? And what we're trying to do is learn more about that person to be able to have a relatable story back to them. So when you're doing that though, you have to be specific in all your steps. Right? So in this particular case, when you're setting a follow-up appointment, if they're not already signing up, and you're setting up a follow-up appointment to be with them again to find out what information they found out if they want to do research or whatever it is, don't go, oh yeah, well I'll call you in a couple of days. Say, look, hey, it's Tuesday, it's about 4 o'clock right now, right? So why don't we get together Thursday night and take some next steps with this thing. Or if somebody says, listen, I really get you signed up, but I can't do it right now, perfect. Let's get together on Thursday at 3:30. Make sure, what we always taught the kids was follow up an appointment with another appointment. Never leave a meeting without a next step action plan, right? That's really important because that's another way that you're building credibility, right? That's another opportunity for you to show them that you know what you're doing. You're asking them to make a commitment. You're asking them to be on time. I know Tony does this all the time. Hey, I'm really good at keeping my commitments. How are you? right? You use that, how often do you use that line? Pretty much every time, right? So, and now here's another chance for you now to show and build trust and earn their trust by showing up to that appointment on time, right? The other thing that I used to teach them, which is not on the slides here, but it just comes to me right now, I'm pretty much almost out of time, is another way that you can build credibility as a younger person is you can say, hey, listen, I just need 20 minutes of your time to get together with you. And then I would teach the kids to say, hey, do you mind if I just put my phone on the desk here and I set my alarm for 20 minutes? You got a person that's got a busy lifestyle, they're in a hurry, right? Here's another opportunity for you to build credibility. You're talking, you're having a good time. Maybe you haven't even shown the plan yet because you're doing such a great job of building the relationship. 20 minutes comes up. The alarm goes off. Hey, listen, you know, I told you I was only gonna take 20 minutes, you know, my 20 minutes are up. I haven't even really had a chance to show you what I came here to show you yet, but I've really enjoyed our conversation, but I want to respect your time. Can I set a follow-up meeting with you where I can come back and we can actually get down to what we want to talk about? 9 times out of 10, what do people say? No, it's okay, I got more time, just show me now. Most people that are business people, they're smart about their schedule. They're gonna commit to me 20 minutes, right? And they're gonna try and get rid of me as fast as they can. But they're gonna block an hour in their calendar. Why are they gonna block an hour? Well, because if they get rid of me in 15 minutes, they have 45 minutes now to catch up in their day, right? Go to the restroom, grab a sandwich, whatever it is. So if I acknowledge that their time is valuable, I keep that commitment, I'm building trust, right? And they're gonna say, hey, no problem. Let's go ahead and let's get this done, right? And you keep moving forward. And those things work time after time after time. I think I'm a little over my time. I got a little case of the Anthony's up here, so. So that's about it for me. The thing that I'll say is about this business is more about relationships and building trust than there is anything else, right? Obviously, you gotta do all the stuff like gather customers and sign people up and enroll people in your business, all that sort of stuff, I get that. But if you don't help those people, if you don't build relationships, if you don't help them chase the things that they want, right? Derek doesn't care what I want. I mean, he does now, we've become friends. Sasha, we have some common goals, some stuff we want to do together. But Sasha had stuff that she wanted for herself and her family and her little one that's running around right now. Which, by the way, is not at all distracting.
Sit down. He's talking
See, I
about
already
you.
lost my place. So, but seriously though, right, like I joke and, you know, I try to be gregarious and all that sort of stuff, but I really want to impress on everybody here the importance of building a relationship with people, right? Even if they say no to the business, who do they know, right? Now they're not saying, hey, this jackwad came to my place, he was kind of a jerk, not doing anything, right? They're gonna say, hey, I wasn't really interested, but Steve might be interested, or Jennifer might be interested. Maybe you should get in touch with her, right? And then you pull Tony's trick. I'll let Tony train on that for the building depth deal. I love that. That's one of my favorite things. So, hey, I just want to thank you for coming today. Thank you for your time, for trusting in me to try and share some information with you that's important to me. And, thank you very much. And I wish you all the best in this business.